Well, I hope you brought your extinguisher because this topic is a dumpster fire.
I would say this is a shocking headline or a shocking study, but
I have grown past the point of being able to be shocked.
you know, I was shocked for about 5 seconds, and then it all makes sense, and I'm almost numb to it now. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. A headline like this is how crazy things are. A headline, I'm like, I see a headline like this, and I'm like, I feel like Sydney Watson, where she starts her videos like, "Welcome to hell."
We are absolutely getting dumber as a species.
Hi, everybody. People who skipped doing what the government instructed them to do, you know what happens? They are at a higher risk of traffic accidents, according to a new study. So this is going down a very dangerous path. First, you're thinking about, well, can I justify charging people who didn't do what the government told them to do during that time frame? Can I charge them more money for insurance? That's the first thing you're looking at here. Insurance companies are making money, losing money in certain avenues because of certain different things, and this might be a way to make that back. Remember when Dan Crenshaw and others voted for an anonymous, this is my opinion, he disagreed with me and I disagree with him. I did a whole video breaking down why I disagree. There will be no federal vaccination database. As with all vaccines, the information gets held at the state and local level. So I'm interpreting that as, I don't like any database, but it's not information that's being shared with the federal government. So I see this in the bill. It says improving the secure bidirectional exchange of immunization record data among federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial government entities. That's directly from the bill. So no, the bill doesn't say we are going to create a federal. I didn't see that verbiage in the bill. Maybe I missed it. Let me know if you see that. I didn't see it spell out, we are going to create a federal vaccine database. It just says expand and it says improve. That's word games. Bidirectional means both ways. In my opinion, he voted for an anonymous, well, they said anonymous. Yeah, right. Just like this database here is supposed to be encrypted, but they were able, this is Canada though. This was printed in American outlets and journalists printed this, but it's a Canadian study. And others voted for an anonymous federal database that would track who did what the government told them or not. Almost like Simon Says. So the government's like, Simon says, and if you didn't do it, then you go down this other path. This study literally has nothing to do with health. They would argue mental, I think. But it's not about the health of what the government told you to do or not, you know, as far as making your shoulder available for the government. It has nothing to do with that. So that's what this was about. I'll come back to this at the end. In the article, this is from Fortune. So this American medical journal printed it, and Fortune did an article on it. Yahoo did too. And in none of these articles that I've seen have they challenged this. Because the study is bunk, it's ridiculous, not credible, but they don't challenge it. Let me read this clip from it. So they're saying, if I didn't explain it well enough, that if you didn't open up your shoulder for the government, that you're more likely to get into a serious car accident, is basically the conclusion of the study. The study says, of course, doing what the government told you to do does not mean that someone will get into a car crash. Instead, the authors theorize that people who resist public health recommendations might also neglect basic road safety guidelines. Why would they ignore the rules of the road? Distrust of the government, a belief in freedom, misconceptions of daily risks, my risks. My risk to take, whether I'm right or wrong on the conception of them. Faith in natural protection, antipathy toward regulation, poverty, misinformation, a lack of resources, and personal beliefs are potential reasons, proposed by the authors.
This is a rough one. I'm not going to lie.
So the study can't conclude any of that, but they did dabble into it for some reason. The study has all kinds of red flags that are concerning. No article that I've seen addresses it. As a side note, let's look at Don Dada. His inability to acknowledge the true reason for these things, for these procedures with a needle in your shoulder, might lead to his ultimate downfall. He's hard-headed. And you're hard-headed on the topic where you could easily throw the administrative state under the bus and say they were the ones who did it. I did this good, they were traitors, or however you want to say it. You need to pivot off of that, because you can see that Mr. DeSantis is hitting hard. And when I say indirectly, it's indirectly going at Dandada. He's hitting hard on that topic. He announced that petition with the Supreme Court of Florida to impanel a grand jury to investigate any and all wrongdoing in Florida with respect to these things. And you see him do it, and in the background, you see all the you hear all the medical you see all the medical professionals clapping. This is good work by DeSantis. There's no question about that. You look at it, you'll see every once in a while you'll see them clapping in the background, and it's impressive. This is the big shot. This was a hell of a visual. You got to take this dude seriously, and you see them clapping in different places. Dandada, I took a little side note to just holler at Dandada. You in deep trouble if you don't fix that. That's part of the reason why Young Fury had that dinner with you. If you listen to his lives, he spells that out. That's part of the problem. So listen to this clip from the article from Fortune. The findings suggest that people who are unV'd, their adults, need to be careful indoors with other people and outside with surrounding traffic. We're in 2022, and this is in Fortune. They can do whatever studies they want, in Canada in particular too. But why would Fortune print this? That's the finding from the study? That's the reason why they have to protect Fauci. They have to protect him because he represents all the experts that are going to do what they want. This is not trending towards a good place. I don't want to be black-pilled, but hopefully this is motivation to stop cringing at stuff like MAGA communism and figuring out how to work it, because you need to work with other people. The people who didn't get that thing, they're not of one political ideology. So it would behoove us to work together. How that works, I don't know. Get the leaders together and figure it out. Do I have to do everything? Let's sit to the table and figure out how it would work. It's not trending towards a good place. They published a study that states as fact in their study, it's an assumption, I should say. They use it as an assumption that the V hesitancy is a mental condition. This is bananas. Here is the abstract. It says hesitancy for that V, which I don't even call it a V, that it's not a V, not a traditional definition. The hesitancy is a reflection of psychology. What does that mean? And then they start getting into that might contribute to traffic safety. What hesitancy of this particular V, is a reflection of psychology. That's an academia way of saying mental illness. That's how they view this. Right there. This is the study that all these articles are sharing. This is the what's the official title of this place here? Is the official American Journal of Medicine is what the official thing is. And I'm not making any medical claims here, so I don't want to, I really don't want to, I hope that that isn't misconstrued. I'm talking about the government response, I'm talking about the database and all those different things, and I'm talking about a study. The study is not medical. See, a lot of these studies are statistical. I'm not talking about, I don't get into medicine, but I do have a statistics background. I can talk about these topics in the realm that I understand. They compared unV'd drivers to those who have sleep apnea. Obviously, if you have sleep apnea, you aren't treated, you shouldn't be driving. So keep that in mind. If you have a database at the state level or federal level, they don't care. The federal level just makes it easier for them, because a state like New York would love to do stuff like this. And pretty soon, all cars on the road will be electric at some point. The government could implement laws to brick your car in seconds. Here's the study. It says the increased traffic risk among unV'd individuals extended to diverse subgroups was similar to the relative risk associated with sleep apnea.
I don't even know what's happening.
So from an insurance standpoint, that would put your rates way up if you just do it based on this study. Now, that's why you need market competition, because insurance companies that don't go off a study like this, they wouldn't increase, and that would be an option to go to. Of course, obviously, if you have sleep apnea, you shouldn't be driving. My furnace just went on, so if you hear background noise, that's all it is. Hopefully you can still hear me well. I challenge people to find one Dem in this country at any level of government that would challenge this study. Here's the conclusion of the study. These data suggest that the V hesitancy is associated with significant increased risks of a traffic crash. And awareness of these risks might help encourage more Vs. And they know that there's other, if you use this study, which is bunk, if you use it, then you could do other things too. Why wouldn't you be able to put people who didn't take the V into a mental facility? It's a mental condition causing it, right? You could do a lot. You could charge more. You could do a lot of different things. From the study, the V is an objective, available, important, authenticated, and timely indicator of human behavior. They're tying in the V with human behavior. And what does the government do? It governs human behavior, creating laws. All of our laws are created to address human behavior. This is a Canadian study, but American outlets are sharing it, reporting it unchallenged. Of course, like nearly every study that led us astray during the pandemic, it's not a randomized control trial. I don't know. I haven't set up those trials. I know what that is. Randomized controls trial is typically you have at least two trials, but you're comparing two trials. One is the experimental trial, the other one is the control trial, and the only thing you study is the difference between those two groups. That eliminates the noise. Their study was not a randomized trial. Fortune, it would be nice for you to add that to your article, to add some context, like, wait, this isn't a serious thing. I'm going to end with this. As I said, that's why they did the database. The data is a lot of power. But just saw news that Twitter is looking at potentially collecting more data. Elon Musk is woke. I don't want his woke ass with more of my data. And you can see that the popping bottles, we passed that stage. Never got to that stage. I did a little pop when I heard he was going to buy it, but after he officially got it, no bottles have been popped, and no bottles are going to be popped unless something really drastically changes. He is a woke, crazy person. Our interests converge more, but he is woke beyond belief. Just as woke as the Tifa group. And it puts us in a dangerous place. This is a Canadian study being promoted by American outlets. They want, remember I covered that story, they want Canada, US, and Mexico to be one country. In my opinion, that's why the borders are open.
Government.
They are trying to merge the US with Mexico and Canada. Yeah.
Mr. Blinken spoke about consolidating the region of North America, and we agree on that. We are also in favor of a unity of the entire American continent, like the way the first European community emerged and converted into the European Union. That's what we want.
Oh, come again? What did you say, my persona negra?
Mr. Blinken spoke about consolidating the region.
What did you say?
Mr. Blinken spoke about consolidating the region. Mr. Blinken spoke about consolidating the region of North America.
Oh,
so we're going to merge with Mexico in the middle of the most brutal drug war in its history.
Things that make you say.
Then on top of that, I did the video about Dan Crenshaw, just using him as an example, but other Republicans voted for what, in my opinion, would determine or create a federal database for that thing. So you've got all those things in motion. It takes you to a place where, don't worry, it's not just about Twitter. What they do at Twitter, they're doing it at all the big tech companies. It's not just about TikTok. So somebody, I think it was Tommy Lauren, was talking about TikTok, and a lot of people talking about TikTok. I understand the problems with the country overseas, but the bigger problem isn't that. I can't talk about the last general election, honestly, on this platform right now. It's a company headquartered in California. It's an American company. So the problem is bigger than just the country overseas. It's with all these companies, and we've got to get a digital bill of rights ASAP, because that's what's going to allow them to lock down, get the database of what's the next thing that we tell you to do that you have to do. Oh, you didn't do it. You have you in the database, and then boom, you are officially on a social credit score, ostracized from society type of thing. I'm optimistic. We can talk about this. This is bipartisan. This isn't a MAGA thing. This is just, it doesn't make sense if you're a common person. So if we can't bond on this is a problem, then Maybe I should be black pilled. Let me know what you think.